to another live stream, Walk and Talk Wednesday with Java and Journeys with Jillian. How are you doing? I hope that your day is going well. And thank you for joining me on this beautiful Wednesday afternoon. So you'll probably see behind me, we are at the Flower and Garden Festival here at EPCOT. And I figured, why not take you all along with me? We're going to just chit chat, have a good kiki, walk around, see the views. And hopefully for those of you all that are on the East Coast here in the US, you will be ending your day with just some laid back, casual, fun conversation and get some Disney sights in. I figured this is a good opportunity. This is my third live stream, y'all, my third one. And it's been a while. My goal and intention with this is just to go. Disney is basically in my backyard. I live literally 10 minutes away from EPCOT for Magic Kingdom. So part of the reasons why I typically do my live streams here are simply because why not? Like, I'm so close to Disney that I figure why not get some good exercise in at the end of the day and talk about topics that are popular within pop culture, that are going on, that are top of mind, that are just fun and allows for us to have a good kiki. So with that being said, let me show you all a little bit of the view. So like I said, we are pretty much toward the front of the entrance of EPCOT. And you'll see here views. And for those of you all that are unfamiliar with EPCOT, so EPCOT tends to have some really great festivals. Right now it's the Flower and Garden, which is why you see a lot of the floral vibes going on in the background. You see Journey to Imagination, which is a ride that looks like that pyramid shape at the top for those that are unfamiliar. And we are just going to take a good walk around. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the live stream. Please join in. And for those of you all that are just coming into the channel, this is Walk and Talk Wednesday with Java and Journeys with Jillian, where we are just going to talk about some fun pop culture things while I show you all the views of Disney, which is basically in my backyard. So I'll tell you all, this is, again, like I was saying, third live stream. And the reason why it has taken me a while, because typically my goal is to do this every week. Y'all just got very sick. And I honestly think that a lot of it was physical exhaustion. For those of you all that are not entirely new to my channel, this is not my full-time job. One day, right? I have goals. Your girl has goals. She has dreams. But for right now, we got bills to pay, right? So we are not always able to be in a situation to do this full-time, but I hope to do so. And I think I was just very exhausted. So I caught a cold. So I have to skip out on a Wednesday. And then y'all don't judge me. So for those of you all that are my viewers and you are not new to this channel, you will know that I have had my Christmas stuff up for the longest time. No judgments, please. But here's my philosophy, okay? Hear me out. The reason why I have had my Christmas stuff up for ages is because it took so long just to put it together. So typically my philosophy is that I don't take down my Christmas stuff until like the very end of February anyway. Because of work and just, life, right? It took me a while to get to a place where I could actually take all my Christmas stuff down, turn everything over for spring, summer. So I ended up skipping out on a Wednesday. Hello, welcome to the channel. Come on in, everyone. Yes, thank you, Whitney. We listen and we don't judge. And let me tell you all something. My sister was like, no, you did not record a grocery haul and we have our Christmas trees all in the background. Listen, it is what it is, y'all. Your girl is booked and busy, and then with doing everything, getting exhausted, got a cold, which I felt like was a sign for me to just sit my behind down. So here we are. I'm feeling good. I feel better healed. And now I'm back on this beautiful day, and the weather has been bonkers here in Florida. So before we get into our topic of talking about trifling Southwest, I will tell you all, the weather has been all over the place. So I would say maybe about a good month ago, it was frigid. And when I say frigid, those of you all that are in the Northeast, that are maybe in other parts of the world where, your winter time, like right now, is actually cold. For Florida, like if it drops beneath 60, everyone starts freaking out. It got very cold. It was like down in the 30s, 40s. Even parts of northern Florida got snow, and they say climate change isn't real. But it got so cold that it just was very unusual. It went from being around the 40s to then hopping up to like the 70s. I would say maybe this was like a few days later. Then the temperature dropped back down, not quite as cold as being in the 40s, but it was just very, very, very difficult. Dealing with the ups and downs and the changes of the season. I think right now, with this being in spring, we are comfortably settling into the heat and humidity. It's in the 80s right now in Florida. So it's just like the ups and downs have been crazy. And that is just a quick pro tip, I would say, if you're coming to Disney, and especially if you're coming off peak. I know it doesn't look like it's off peak. Look at the crowd right now. But if you're coming off peak, then I would say definitely check the weather. If you are going to come like December, January, February, even March, because you never know. You want to make sure you pack a jacket. Otherwise, Disney is going to take that coin. You all have heard me say this. They are unabashedly unashamed of capitalizing off of your misery and doing what they can to put you in a situation where, you know, you end up buying that Disney hoodie. But while you all are here, I have actually, let me take a step to the side so you can get a good view. So we are passing through, we are going through World Showcase. We are actually in the Mexico Pavilion area. And I need to actually go into the pyramid because they just reopened one of the attractions within this space. And I need to check it out. It's like with Donald, and it's like the Three Amigos, and it's a lot of fun. But they had it shut down just temporarily for refurbishments, and now it's, you know, back open. And so I'll have to check that back out. But we're passing through Mexican Pavilion, and we are making our way through. But y'all, let's get into it, right? Like the topic of conversation, now that we've got some of the pleasantries out of the way, we are going to talk about Trifling Southwest, because the whole point of Walk and Talk Wednesdays is not necessarily that we just exclusively talk about Disney things. My husband is Disney expert. I am not. I'm just here for a good time. But it's to talk about some of the crazy stuff that we're dealing with in life, or just like some fun pop culture moments. And y'all, Southwest, if you are unfamiliar, and if you just didn't happen to catch the news, they are doing away with their baggage policy, right? Oh, I appreciate that. I will take, listen, hi Rainbow Face. I will gladly take whatever you would like to donate to this channel, but welcome and thank you for joining. And also, quick sidetrack, we are actually passing by the Norway Pavilion, which is where Frozen is located. But onto the topic of Southwest. So they decided to do away with their baggage policy, which they would let you, you know, check 2 bags for free. And that is what made Southwest Southwest, right? Like, we all know that Southwest is a budget airline. And I think that what made Southwest so attractive, though they are budget, to a lot of people were the check bags, because y'all, again, the airlines are trying to take our coins and our checks. So them announcing that they're doing away with the bag policy, I think was like the biggest mistake. And let me tell you all, the airline gangsters that have come in to swoop in and prey upon former Southwest customers as Frontier, they actually just announced that, oh, okay, well, you know, we see how Southwest did you, but if you would like to, you know, come on over here and take a risk with us, we'll let you check your bags for free. But y'all, don't get too excited, because that's not a permanent policy change. It's just temporary. But like, I was watching a TikToker talk about this, and he is absolutely right. Like, Frontier is coming in like that shady friend that you have, you know, that's probably been trying to get with your boo. And they've been doing things like in the background, like scheming and plotting and just waiting for the day that stuff doesn't work out. And so with the schemes and the plots, they have essentially like come on in and they're capitalizing, and I don't blame them, even if it's temporary. I'm like, girl, Southwest, who do you think you are? You aren't Delta. And not to even say that Delta is perfect. Like, all the airlines, y'all, especially here in the US, have issues. None of them are perfect. But let's be real, Southwest. Like, the reason why we gave you a chance to begin with is because you hooked us up with some free bags, girl. And I think the thing that is their saving grace is now you don't have to like stress out about being called to a specific zone. So again, if you have never ever flown Southwest, typically they give you like a boarding letter, but you don't have an assigned seat. And so anyway, you go, you get called up when, you know, your zone is announced, and you just have to pray, girl, that you can get a good seat, get the seat that you want, right? And so it felt like Hunger Games, dealing with Southwest trying to get the seat of your choice. And now that they're done with these baggage policies, like, I mean, it's nice that they are now changing their policy to where you can actually pick a seat now. That's nice, but that is not incentive enough for me, girl. So drop down in the comments, tell me what I ultimately want to know while we are passing through the African Pavilion is, do you have any intentions of flying Southwest? Are you going to keep giving them your business? Or is it enough that they're now allowing you to have an assigned seat, but they're taking away the bag policy? Girl, it's not enough for me. It is not enough for me, but I honestly have not flown Southwest like that since I was like a young adult. Okay, here's me showing my age. Because I was done with dealing with being in the Hunger Games, y'all. Like, for those of you that have joined Southwest, have you ever gotten into it with people who were like trying to save seats and doing all that crazy nonsense? Like, and, you know, their folks are like in like the last zone call, but yet they're saving all the premium seats for their people. Like, like they should have paid a little bit extra so they could have proper, you know, seating and get a higher zone. But anyway, so y'all, I don't know. I don't think Southwest is thinking about this clearly. And I'm like, y'all, read the room. In the US, our economy is about to go down, okay? I don't care like what your political belief is. I think a lot of people are hurting right now, and we have to admit the fact that like people are not going to be traveling like that. Like, I think people are going to be a lot more frugal, a lot more conservative, because we're walking into like an economic unknown situation right now. People are losing their jobs. There's just a lot of stuff going down, right? And on top of that, with you doing away with the baggage policy, so let's just say people are like, okay, well, we are willing to still travel, and Southwest, we're going to roll with you, girl, because you're helping us be conscientious of our budget. Well, like now that you're removing that, like what's the point, girl? There is no point. So I think Southwest it would not shock me, y'all, mark my word, it would not shock me at all if they end up reversing their policy. It may not happen right away, but I think if they lose enough of their customers, and when you have a gangster airline like Frontier that's going to come in and offer up incentives to entice you to, you know, use their airline, I think that they're going to see that they made a mistake and they're going to reverse their policy, but they also need to keep the assigned seating. And then like Southwest, you would be bomb. You would be good, because at least unlike Spirit, and I don't want to shade Frontier because I've never flown Frontier, budget airline, we all are aware of this, but I think that like if they would have kept the assigned seating along with the baggage, they would be golden. They would be absolutely golden. Speaking of golden, y'all, look at how beautiful, like the gold from the sun. Looking at the, what is this called? I think like the Friendship Lagoon or something, you know, something Disney-fied like that. But look at this view. It is absolutely beautiful. It's stunning. And look at my trifle behind. I'm like talking to you all. I haven't even shown you all what makes the Flower and Garden Festival. Flower and Garden Festival are the topiaries. Speaking of which, like right here, you'll see Snow White in her friend Dopey right here. And these topiaries are so gorgeous. And if you have not seen it, check out my YouTube video that I posted. I want to say this was like a week or so ago, where basically I talk about the Flower and Garden Festival. And we go through, we talk about the first visit. There are our friends, the Seven Dwarfs. Well, 6, considering that Dopey is with Snow White, but you get the gist. And we have here like the German pavilion. EPCOT is like my favorite. So you all like just know that most of my walk and talks are probably going to be from EPCOT, because I think it's absolutely stunning and gorgeous. And for me, of the like Disney World parks here in Orlando, I 100% prefer EPCOT as the best, because I think it's the most atmospheric for me. And I was actually talking to a friend about this, because he's never been to Disney at all. And I think he kind of felt like awkward being an adult. And I'm like, listen, being a Disney adult is real. and like give me a fantasy Disney, because Lord knows I give you all enough of my money. Like give me a fantasy. So I was trying to let him know that like it's okay. Like you don't have to have kids to come to Disney and have a good time. They have plenty of adult entertainment and things like for everyone, right? That's what makes it so family friendly. But in talking about this, I think if you are like, if you have a friend that, let's just say you love Disney, you love, this is how you like spending your free time, and you have a friend who's apprehensive and they're like, I don't know, like I highly recommend like bring them over to Epcot. Epcot is a great park that doesn't feel too like Disney-fied, so to speak. And especially if you're like me and you may not have the coins to travel right away, this at least gives you a small taste, right, of what some of these countries are like abroad. And I was joking with that said friend because I actually convinced him to, like, for us to have a good Epcot day. And he was like, yeah, you know, I'm looking forward to it. He's, you know, a fan of Japanese culture and all things Asian. And he's like, yeah, Jillian, like, I'm looking forward to it. Should be good. And I'm like, listen, girl, this is probably the closest to Japan that at least I'm going to get. Okay. Like this is the closest. Like it is what it is. And especially right now, who knows? Like we were just talking about Southwest and traveling. Y'all, I want to travel so bad. I do. Like I want to get on a plane. I want to like travel the world and see different countries. And I've been asking myself, like, is it safe? Is it okay? Like, I mean, you have to be smart, right? Wherever you go, be like conscious of your surroundings, do your research when you're visiting any country, right? And even if you live abroad and you're coming here to Florida, girl, still do your research, because there's trifling people here, there's trifling people everywhere, right? But I think there are very high tensions between like the US and other countries, given certain decisions that our current individual in office has decided to make and the people he's surrounded himself with. And so I think it's sometimes touch and go to figure out, like, is it good to travel? Like, is it okay? But let's just say if you do decide to travel, like, I hope so. I mean, like, I don't know, does Southwest go to other countries? I think maybe they probably go to like a couple, right? But again, I'm like, Southwest, instead of getting rid of baggage policies, why don't you expand like your fleet of airplanes to other places and like minimize your connecting flights and do more direct? Like, come on now. I'm not like proposing something that's like a genius suggestion for them. Like, I think that if they were to talk to any of their like former customers, current customers or whatever, they would say like, why aren't you focusing on this? But anywho, let's go ahead and continue on with our walk through World Showcase. And so, yeah, I don't know. And let's just say if you are someone that heavily leans into the budget airlines, like which budget airlines do you really like? I have flown Southwest before in the past, but as I said before, I have not actually flown Southwest in a long time. It's been a while. I have tried Avelo, which that one's a newer budget airline, and Avelo's okay. I typically fly them when I am going to see my good Judy, my good friend in the Northeast, and they have actually direct flights from Orlando to Connecticut, which is really nice. But I have not tried Spirit. I am too afraid. Your girl is too afraid. Like, she wants to get to her destination in one piece. The TikToks on Spirit Airlines are vicious. They are so vicious, but so hysterical at the same time. And, you know, they'll have like, on a TikTok, the pilot come on the PA, or the flight attendant, it's like, hey, does anyone have experience flying? Can anyone land this plane? Just know that any food you come online with, we may have to charge you a cleanup fee, because, you know, these budget airlines will charge a fee for anything, and it's just so hysterical. Because I've heard that Spirit is so prone to canceling flights, I have not done it. I have not done it. I'm too scared, because your girl is not trying to miss a flight and have her whole plans wrecked and delayed. So I haven't tried Spirit. I haven't tried Frontier, but I am interested at some point in trying them out and seeing. Like, drop down in the comments if you are a lover of budget airlines, right? Because they're affordable. You don't need the bells and whistles. You just need to get to where you're going as quickly as possible. But see, that's the thing. Can they get you there quickly? I don't know. Right? So if you are someone that, though, like that's your main mode, like when you're flying somewhere, let me know. Drop down in the comments. Tell me, like, what are budget airlines that I should try, right? And again, like I posed this question, but for those that are just entering, hello, welcome to this live stream with me, Jillian. We are talking about Southwest and their raggedy behinds changing their baggage policy, and like, are you still going to continue to use them? So let me know. And while you're thinking on that, check out this view. Y'all, I wish that I had a yacht and I had my own like yacht captain and they could just like take me everywhere I needed to go just via the water. I feel like at this point, with all the like airplane crashes and the nonsense that's been going on here, that sometimes feels safer to just be on ground, or if not ground, be on the sea. Because Lord knows, like, y'all, I need more monies, right? They say more money, more problems, but I would love to find out, because your girl wants experiences. Don't we all, though? But with that being said, help the algorithm out. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, Java and Journeys with Jillian. If you're just entering the chat, hello, how are you? My name is Jillian. Welcome to Walk and Talk Wednesdays, where I rant about a topic that's going on, pop culture, something influential, and we just, get some good exercise in. I live on the East Coast. I live in Florida. Disney's in my backyard, so it's very easy for me to get here. So I'm like, why not bring you all along with me on the ride, and we just, have a good kiki. We talk, we check out the views and the sights around us. Right now, I am at the Japan Pavilion. And y'all, if you have not seen any of my videos, especially EPCOT at night is absolutely gorgeous. And I also had a chance to go to Tapenado, which is the hibachi restaurant, actually here in this pavilion and in this building that I'm looking at right now. And Tapenado is good. It's not the best hibachi in the world. I'm not going to front. I'm not going to lie, but it's good. So if you're someone, you want the experience of just like eating in the Japan Pavilion, and they have sushi as well, check out Tapenado. And while you're at it, check out my previous video about it. And as we continue walking through, we're making our way around World Showcase, y'all. We're talking about trifling Southwest, and are you still going to fly with them? I also think that like there is such a sense of trepidation, and this is why I think Southwest is also making a mistake, is that people are going to be more hesitant to fly. So I think if you can make it as cost efficient as possible to, sweeten the pot and incentivize people to travel out, I think people will be more inclined to do so. But yeah, I think they made a terrible mistake. And I think, we're talking about safety, traveling on a budget. I think this is what I appreciate about EPCOT. And I recognize that for me, I'm in a privileged situation to be able to be a season pass holder and be able to come over here. And I think what I especially love about it is that if you are someone that you're like, oh my God, I'm on a budget, I spend all my money on my season passes and I can't really travel, at least EPCOT gives you a little bit of a taste, right? Totally, with all these countries that are represented in a World Showcase, like, let's be real, this is only showing you a very small fraction of like what those countries are like. It's not the full story. But y'all, we'll take a little bit of a narrative, right? We'll take that. And especially if it gives us like that feeling, at least until you are able to travel to that country of choice. Right now we're passing by the Moroccan Pavilion. They got the tunes going. We have some folks dancing in the background. And y'all, I'm not going to hold you. I'm a little irritated because I wanted to film this in landscape mode instead of portrait, just so you all have a wider shot of what's going on around. I feel like every time I've done these live streams, there's always something. So as soon as I went on live, my phone prompted me. It was like, you have to change your orientation. And I'm just like, for real. Come on now. So next time I do this walk and talk, hopefully I'll be able to do it in landscape mode, and that way you'll get a wider shot of what everything looks like. But this should be giving you a good idea. We're actually coming upon the France Pavilion, which I absolutely love. And I highly recommend. This is where you have like the ratatouille ride. There's, you know, some bougie restaurants. Get yourself some crepes. If you all happen to miss it in one of my prior videos, let me tell you something. I'm like, the French people are not effing with us. And I made that comment because for those of y'all that are unfamiliar with EPCOT, and because Disney wants to create this fantasy and really make it feel immersive for you, what they'll do is they'll actually have cast members from these countries come in and work at these given showcases, right? And so my co-producer, aka husband, and I were ordering a crepe, and I could just tell that they were over it. And there was really no one was being like rude or nasty or like that. But you know, it's been a long day, you're tired. And when people are asking like questions that they may perceive as ridiculous, I sometimes feel like they're looking like, you dumb American. Like, why am I even talking to you? You are not worthy of my time. You cannot tell me that some French people think like that. Some, not all, right? But like the look on the cast member's face, she was just like, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to get up out of here. Let me catch my non-Southwest flight back to France, where I could be one with my people and leave you crazy Americans in the dust. That was like the vibe that it was giving. And it was so hilarious. But while we're crossing over here, look how beautiful it is. And you see the Belle and Beast topiary in the background. And also over in this pavilion, you have a beautiful view of the Skyliner. Let me actually give you all closer POV. And I'm actually like really happy that I'm coming out here while there's still good light out, because oftentimes with me filming in the evenings after work, though it is beautiful at night, sometimes you tend to just notice more, right? When you're in the light of day. And especially with the sun setting, this is so picturesque, so beautiful. And I actually have not been on the Skyliner that you see on the background. I was actually talking to my sister about potentially doing this walk and talk from the boardwalk and taking the Skyliner over. But I need to just film that one day. And actually, before I do a walk and talk, and you'll see like the entrance to Ratatouille right here. But before I do the walk and talk, like from the Skyliner and all that, I'm like, let me just record first to make sure that this is actually a good environment and a good place to do something like, you know, live stream. Y'all, this is just so gorgeous. I love the French Pavilion. So I'm going back to my little like story about the French people are not effing with us. I like after we ordered and got our crepe, I was just like having a good like laugh, and I was just like, you could tell tensions are running high, and it would not shock me if some of these cast members are like, I need to go back home to my home country, which is quite sad, right? Like, I don't know, everything that's going on in the world right now rather disgusts me. And I'm fine if you're someone that believes differently. It's okay. You can exit out the group chat, girl. But I do not like this feeling that we aren't being welcoming to other people. And that's not, I just don't think that that's the fabric of America. And I'm saying this as a Black woman, like, it just isn't. This is a country of immigrants. It's a country of different people. And so we want to be welcoming, and I get that there are rules and restrictions around that, but we shouldn't be bullies, and we certainly shouldn't make people feel like they don't belong and that there's not a place for them, right? I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole too much, but just making that comment. I'm like, if we weren't welcoming and the behavior that is on display right now, like think about EPCOT, think about Disney, and even like the inspiration Disney gets from other cultures, right? Like we wouldn't have what we have if we just continued on in that kind of attitude, in that vein. So hopefully things will change. And, you know, hopefully what else will change? Southwest bag policies. And now that I think about it, given that I haven't actually flown Southwest in forever, I'm just kind of like, girl, why do you care? I don't know. I'm just shocked because I'm like, that's the whole reason why most of us, if those of us that had to fly with you, that's why we did. And like, you just messed up. Anywho, getting off that tangent, and now there's an announcement for the Luminous show. Y'all, if you have not seen Luminous at EPCOT, like, you can Google the footage. I'm sure there's a lot of YouTube videos out there about Luminous. Luminous has to be the most depressing fireworks show I have ever seen Disney produce. And if you have, by chance, if you've seen Luminous, drop down in the comments, tell me what you really think. I think Luminous is just so depressing. And the last time my sister, my co-producer, and I were actually fully watching the Luminous show, what was so hysterical about it is that, you know, it tells the story of basically life and death and like the circle of life, but not like the circle of life in a powerful way like The Lion King. It's just more of a somber tone. And so it's in like going through that arc in the show where it's talking about death and, you know, reborn life. And while it's going through this somber part, someone's like pushing a cart, a cast member. So you hear this, and people were starting to look because it was just so loud. And I was just laughing my butt off. Like, I have a little bit of a morbid sense of humor, but that was cracking me up. And while we're at it, we're actually passing by the UK pavilion, London pavilion, which also, I think of all the pavilions, I have to say, I think I like the French pavilion the best. The France pavilion, Norway, and London. Like, these are and I also like the US pavilion too, because it's more of like the old school colonial early Americas. But this is also quite beautiful. But yes, and I can't believe we've been talking for 30 minutes already. We're actually now about to like round out our countries here in World Showcase as the sun is setting. Y'all, look how beautiful it is. And while it has been busy out here, I mean, you all have seen, like, I've been able to navigate around folks pretty easily. And that's the other thing too, I would say, like, for me doing these live streams, the very first live stream I did, which was like a few weeks back, I was a fool, and I don't know what possessed me to do a live stream for Magic Kingdom on a Saturday. I did it. It was interesting. It was an experience. And I'm like, I don't know that I'll ever do that again. It was just way too busy. But like, this is what I like. Coming during a weekday evening, we have Peter Pan and Captain Hook. And we have our alligator friend over there just waiting, right? Sitting and waiting with that mouth open, ready for Captain Hook to get his other arm chopped off. And we're passing by the Canada Pavilion. We have a band going here. But yeah, like, after doing that first one and Magic Kingdom, I'm like, no way. I don't think I can do it. I don't think I can do it. Your girl lived and learned. And it was so funny because, speaking of, I made a comment a little while ago that every time I've done these live streams, there's always been something that's been like a little off about it. And when I first did that live stream, I inputted the orientation wrong, so I was filming upside down for a while. And my sister was like, yo, your live stream, you're coming across as like a boomer. She didn't say that, but that's what I was thinking. It was giving boomer vibes. It was giving like, girl, you don't know how to work this technology. But listen, I was quick, I adapted. I was able to reset it and get it to the proper orientation very fast, okay? I'm not that slow. Your girl is not the most tech savvy person, but she can work her way around a mobile device, okay? Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Wild Sassy. Y'all, like, sometimes, I don't know, there's just too much, like, with some of our devices that I'm like, it gets a little bit too complicated. I've even thought about maybe live streaming on TikTok or Twitch. You all tell me, like, what do you think? Are you like, Do you like watching live streams on YouTube, or do you prefer TikTok or Twitch? I may switch over there just to see what that's like, and hopefully your girl doesn't make a fool of herself and she has like her tech stuff set up. But y'all, really does sometimes feel like it takes an army, right? I can totally understand why some of these like more popular content creators, why they have people that like will film this stuff for them, because it can just, you know, it can get a little bit complicated. But how's it going? So for those of you all that are joining in now, it's your girl Jillian coming to you all the way from EPCOT, and we just spent our walk and talk today talking about trifling ass Southwest and what your thoughts are around them changing their baggage policy, and like, do you intend to travel, and how are you feeling about traveling via air? I even have some friends that are like, I don't care how cheap it is to fly, I refuse to fly right now until we get our stuff together with the FFA and stop like laying off everybody that knows what they're doing because of all the plane crashes and stuff that have been happening. And that's unfortunate, because I'm just like, you shouldn't have to worry about those things, right? Like, we just want to travel and have a good time. We just want to know we're going to get there. That's why I feel a sense of trepidation about flying with Spirit. I'm like, am I going to get to my destination? We all look at this view. Absolutely beautiful. And you know, I think that this is a great note to end on. Thank you all for being with me, for joining me on this walk and talk. If you're new here, my name is Jillian. I do walk and talks. I'm going to try to start doing them weekly on Wednesdays. And it's just an opportunity for us to hang out at Disney, talk our trash about whatever's going on in the world, and get a little bit of exercise in, because y'all know we love to eat. So we eat at these festivals, we eat around, so we also get our workout on too, okay? I am a heifer that believes in getting some movement in, all right? So thank you all. With that being said, it was such a thrill joining you. Join me next week for the next walk and talk. If you have any topics that you want to cover, drop them in the comments. You know, you can always message your girl. Let me know, what would you like to discuss? What would you like to cover as we're walking around and getting views of Disney? The Flower and Garden Festival is going on at EPCOT, so we'll probably do other like numerous walk and talks here just because the vibe is right. It's beautiful. And I'm looking forward to the next one. With that being said, thank you for joining this live stream. I'll catch you next week for our Walk and Talk Wednesday. Bye.
I knew it.